This is okay. This is nice. For every $1,000 earned, the average person spends $950 of it. I only spend $600. The best part, I'm able to save 40% of my income without hating life. And just to be clear, I don't have a crazy high paying job, I don't live with my parents, and I'm not a drug dealer. I just use good money saving techniques that you can copy. This is how I do. There are 4 important techniques that I use to save money. But before I break them down, what kind of educational video would this be if I didn't cover the basics? Now, I understand that most of you probably already know the basics, so I'll be quick. Let's cover them in 15 seconds. Eat at home more often. Buy quality items that will last. Buy an affordable car. Cancel all your subscriptions and only rebuy the ones you feel sad without. Buy things secondhand. Have a roommate whenever possible. Pre-game before you go out. Avoid getting food delivered. Pay off credit card debt. And think about how many hours of your life that money you are spending equals to. Now for the juicy stuff. Get it? It's funny because when I first got serious about saving money, I tried to do a regular budget. One where every single dollar is planned out for the entire month. You try to stick to it, but it's so hard. 30 days is a long time, and there are usually unexpected expenses. So you're likely to break your budget, or feel like you did. And once that's happened, you're more likely to disregard it altogether because you've already messed up. And not having a self-imposed restriction feels a lot better than having one. In psychology, there's this thing called operant conditioning, where organisms learn to associate a behavior and its consequence. It suggests that pleasant consequences are more likely to be repeated in the future. When you break your budget or feel like you did and abandon it, it actually feels good because you're alleviating the stress of having to upkeep the budget. So psychology suggests that once you've started the pattern of breaking your budget, you're likely to continue doing so, and you'll suck at saving money. So how do you stop from breaking your budget or feeling like you did? You make it less overwhelming and more accurate with what I call a real-time budget. Instead of having a flat 30-day budget, I do one every single time I get paid, so bi-weekly. It could look something like this. I look at only the next 2 weeks and figure out how much cash do I currently have, how much is coming in, what expenses do I know that I have, and how much cash is left over. This has been easier for me to upkeep because it's not as overwhelming and it's more accurate. It takes into account some of those irregular expenses that could have occurred, like birthdays, car repair, or a night out with your friends. Doing this version of a budget makes it easier to upkeep it, or feel like you didn't see it through. Either way, you end up saving more money and you beat that psychology trap of never being able to hold a budget. As soon as I've completed my real-time budget and realized just how much free cash I have until my next paycheck, I act like saving money is a bill that I can't ignore, and I immediately move it into sticky accounts. More on that in just a second. Remember, you have to do this budget the day you get paid. By doing this on payday, we're making sure that we're moving money before we even have the chance to overspend or impulse buy things. You might be thinking to yourself, dude, I can just transfer money back. That's not going to work for me. And I agree, that's a valid concern. It didn't work for me either, until I started using sticky accounts. A sticky account is when there's added friction to withdrawing your money. The 2 I use are an Ally Bank savings account and a taxable brokerage account. The Ally Bank savings account is excellent at saving you money. It's a high interest savings account, so you're making 175 times more versus all of the other major banks, which is amazing. You should always have your savings in a high interest savings account, but that's not the part that saves you a ton of money. The part that did save me a lot of money is the transfer delay. Why will the transfer delay save you so much money, you ask? Let me tell you what used to happen to me. I'm willing to bet the same thing probably happened to a lot of you guys. I used to have both my checking and my savings account at Bank of America. What that meant is that my savings account wasn't real. Let's say I was about to make an impulse buy, but I didn't have enough money in my checking account to comfortably make that transaction. I could just transfer money over from my savings account to my checkings account, and because they were at the same bank, it would happen instantly. Convenient? Yes, but terrible when you're trying to save money. This only works if you don't have a checkings account with Ally. Only a savings account. If you set it up the way I told you to, and your savings account is at a different bank, transferring money from your savings to your checking account actually takes 3 business days. Personally, once I was no longer allowed to instantly access my savings account, my impulse buying went way down, and I ended up saving a lot more money because of it. Honestly, because I couldn't use it. Everything I said also applies to my taxable brokerage account, which, for those of you who don't know, is where you can buy stocks. When I first started saving money, I actually did it by investing in stocks, not a savings account, because the fun and excitement actually kept me consistent. Now, granted, the stock market can fluctuate up and down, but what would matter the most to me was the rate at which I started saving money so that I could buy stock. And after that, saving money just became easier, like a habit. The most important and last step to saving money is finding your why. Everything changed for me once I found my why. Saving money became easier, and I actually ended up liking it. You see, I actually didn't care about money before, and I just thought of it as like a tool to trade for things. Because I saw money as, well, money, I was really bad at saving it. Now I really care about money. Not because I'm obsessed with image or living a certain lifestyle, because to me, it represents hope. Let me explain. I found my why when I discovered something called FIRE. It stands for Financially Independent Retire Early. It totally revolutionized the way that I look at money and life. People who are part of the FIRE movement are focused on saving cash, building up as many assets as possible, having no debt, and living a modest life, so that you can retire early and then do whatever you want with your time. We live in a society where the norm is you spend all of your time and effort and energy in working until you're 62, and then finally, maybe you can retire. I don't like that path, and I think it would greatly increase the odds of my biggest fear coming true. My biggest fear is that on my deathbed, I'll look back at my life filled with regret, like I didn't spend enough time doing the things that I love. My why is that I want to become financially independent by the age of 40. Now, I'm not going to stop working at the age of 40, but I am going to have the freedom to take on a lower paying job that makes me happier or start my own business. I can travel when I feel like it, and it's not up to whether or not my boss will approve it. Most importantly, I can be very present in the lives of my loved ones. To me, money is hope. Hope that more freedom will allow me to live a life without regret. And once I saw money that way, there was no turning back. It was so much easier to save money. But this isn't about me. This is about you. This is about you finally being able to save more money without trading your happiness for it. I know you can do it. Think to yourself, what is your why? Why do you want to save more money? Because I'm willing to bet it's not actually about money.